Welcome into the Commanders Report live show. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today we got a bunch of great Commanders content coming your way here for about the next 60 minutes or so. Make sure you guys get down there in the comments section right now. If you guys got a question that you want to get on the mailbag, the Q&A portion of today's live stream, this is your chance to have your voice heard on the show. All you got to do is use hashtag Commanders or Super Chat to get your question on today's Q&A portion. Now, of course, we're going to get to that later in today's show. It'll be our final segment, so you got some time to get your question, to think about it, and make sure you guys use hashtag Commanders or Super Chat to get your question on the show. But our first two segments today, first we're going to talk about trade targets that the Commanders could aggressively go after the NFL draft this year, guys that can make this team better right now, in my opinion. Then we'll get into some of the guys that I think the Commanders could trade away, guys like Jonathan Allen and others here that I think could be on the chopping block for the right price for Adam Peters and the Washington Commanders. So let us know down there in the comments section. Where are you guys watching us from? Where in the world are you guys watching? Are you from Virginia? Are you from Maryland? Are you from, I don't know, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan? Where are you guys from? Let me know. We got Nicole Williams from Virginia. We got William Hancock coming to us from Washington, D.C., the U.S. Government Publishing Office. We've got Bradley in here. We got Jonathan Taylor. He says, "Hi, Jack. What's up, Jonathan? Good to see him." He says, as usual, he's coming to us from his couch. Ebony Wright comes from Virginia. We got Cruisin'. I hope I'm saying that. I hope I'm saying that right. Cruisin' Man coming from Southern Maryland. We got John from Lakehurst, New Jersey. We got Robert from Tennessee. We got Swag Edu, New Swag Edu. I hope I'm saying that right. Somebody's coming to us from D.C. We got Travis Green from Waldorf, Michigan. We got Jose Ortiz from Rhode Island. We got Omar's Burner from Pittsburgh. We got Kenneth from West Virginia, I should say. We got Nigel Williams from Nigel, D.C., or not Nigel, D.C., just from D.C. Maurice is coming from South Carolina. Lane is coming from North Carolina. Dylan's coming from Colorado. Troy's coming from Wisconsin. JG is coming from Seattle. Ramsey's coming from Spring, Maryland. Mr. Bridge is coming from Virginia. Nate Dogg is coming from Virginia as well. And then Mr. Black coming from Atlanta. Travis Green from Waldorf. King M is from Virginia. We got a good crowd here. Almost 100 people watching live around the world. And right now we're going to introduce our producer today, Mr. Trizzy. Trace, how we doing, Triz?
What is going on, Commanders fans? So excited to be hanging out with y'all. Excited to be hanging out with my man, Jack Sperry. It's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a good day, man. As you guys can see, he's wearing a Arkansas Razorbacks hat. He's
Hey, I figured I'm a Razorback. I'd come hang out with the Hogs. Why not?
Absolutely. Ricky Stromberg is a Washington Commander. So
yes.
Arkansas legend.
Arkansas legend.
Absolutely. Okay, so let us know where you guys are watching the show from. We got a bunch of great hijinks coming your way here, Triz. We got some nice items on the Super Chat menu today. Any Super Chat, you're going to get a shout-out on the show. We appreciate everybody that donates to the channel. If you have a question, we'll put it at the top of the mailbag today, all that great stuff. And we got these nasty jelly beans here, Mr. Triz. They're called Bean-Boozled jelly beans from Jelly Belly. And let's just say they don't have the best flavors in the world.
Yeah, I've had to play this game a couple times.
Me
not
too.
Fun.
It's not fun at all, man. And they've got flavors like Old Bandage, Stinky Socks, Barf, Dirty Dishwater, Dead Fish, Booger, Rotten Egg, Liver and Onions, and Stink Bug. All right, so if you guys want to see us eat some nasty jelly beans today, $10 Super Chat, we'll eat one of them for you. And then we're bringing back the F the Cowboys hat, because F the Cowboys, folks. If you want to get your name on the F the Cowboys hat today, we have a bunch of good names on there. We got Cameron on there. We got Marco Gorman if he's watching. We got Craig. We got Earl. We've got Chantel. We got a bunch of people on the hat already. $20 Super Chat. We'll put your name on the F the Cowboys hat. And at the end of the offseason, we're going to be raffling this bad boy off. So really do appreciate your support. Plus, if you put in a 20, Triz and I will both have to do a jelly bean as well. So get those Super Chats in. I'm not looking forward to this Bean-Boozled challenge today, guys. But if you want us to do them, we'll do them for $10, $20, whatever you guys want. We really do appreciate all of your support. So make sure you guys like today's stream here to get us going. We got 117 people watching, just 18 likes. All right,
Come on.
Let's get that up to at least 50 likes before we get into our first segment here. So this is what we're going to do right now. Type me down there in the chat if you have clicked that thumbs up icon. And we're going to keep giving shout-outs here until we get to 50, okay?
Sperry, I heard it only took about 60 seconds for the Cowboys report to get to 50 likes.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Downey likes to get those likes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, like, we got to beat them.
We're better than the Cowboys. I know that.
If you love the Dallas Cowboys, don't like the video, all right? Don't like the stream if you love the Cowboys fans. We're going to be weeding out those stupid Cowboys fans right here. We got Taco is good saying me. Tay is saying me. Omar's Burner is saying me. We got Dylan. He says, please don't trade Allen. I mean, I got no control over that. We'll talk about the possibility of it today. We got Mr. Bridge. We got Robert. We got IQ Barbecue. What's up, IQ? Good to see you, my friend. We got Luis, however you say it. We got King M. We got Nate Dogg. We got Johnny Dodger. I love that name. Johnny Dodger sounds like a cartoon character, like a really cool.
Like he owns a diner or something.
Yeah,
he's like a baseball player. He's the
pitcher.
Yeah,
he's a star pitcher for like a high school baseball team.
Yep. It's old Johnny Dodger.
It's awesome, man. I love that. Okay, so we got Ebony right here. We got to 40 likes. We need 10 more to get into our first segment today. We'll be talking about the top trade targets for the Washington Commanders. I got some pretty interesting names to throw out there today. Some of them are pretty aggressive. I'm not sure how realistic some of these are, but hey, I'm going to be going aggressive today here, folks. We're going to discuss some ideas. We got Nate Dogg in there. We got Tay says, we're going to the Super Bowl. Sure hope so, man. King M says, Jack for GM of the Commanders. I mean, I don't want that job, Triz. I kind of like my comfy studio.
Yeah.
Not all that pressure.
No doubt.
I kind of like grandstanding here and kind of telling other people they're doing a bad job.
Yeah.
I like my position right now.
I do too. And when we get yelled at, it's in the YouTube comment section, not people yelling at us at a stadium.
Exactly. And we're not losing our job if we make one mistake, right? So that's just the way it is. We're 5 likes away from getting into our first segment today. If you're one of the 150 people watching, click that thumbs up icon. It really does help out our channel, guys. It helps get this stream going off on the right foot. Get as many Commanders fans in here as possible. We really do appreciate your support. We got Everett here. We got Luis here, or Lewis, however you say it. We got Jose. We got Brian. We got Agnog. We got Mr. Bridge. We got Gerald P. We got Nate Dogg in here. We got Dylan. We got King M. We're 1 like away. Excuse me. 1 like away from getting into this first segment here, which is going to be Commanders trade targets. Could the Commanders get aggressive and go out and get a Brandon Ayuk, a DK Metcalf, a Cortland Sutton, try to give another high-end weapon to Jaden Daniels? Does that make sense? We're going to be discussing that on our first segment today. So click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already so we can get into our first segment. We just passed 50, guys, so thank you so much for your support. We're going to get into this first segment coming up here. Triz, how we doing on graphs?
Looks like we're doing good. I'm about to reset.
Okay, sounds good. So we're going to get into this right now. Commanders trade targets followed by trade candidates. And then don't forget, use hashtag Commanders or Super Chat to get your question on the mailbag today. That'll be our final segment. So without further ado, do we have a Super Chat already? Oh, we got a Super Chat. $10 Super Chat from Omar's Burner. Let's go, man. Says nobody's ready for the Jonathan Allen for Dan Moore trade coming right down the pipe. Also, let's get these Bean-Boozleds rolling. Gosh, freaking darn it, man.
I was really hoping we would avoid this one.
All right,
today.
so because it's my show here, Triz, I will do the first one here. So we got
I can't do it. I can't let you do it alone. I can't let you do it alone.
All right.
I'm willing to suffer with you.
All right, ready?
All right.
It looks like you got liver and onions.
I'm really hoping it's not liver and onions.
And then I've got dead fish or barf. Okay, so there's the bean. Oh my! I can't do this, dude. It's too early in the day to be eating this crap.
You just got to rip the dirty Band-Aid off.
All right, here we go. Is there garbage in here?
Dude, bad day to not have a garbage in this.
Oh, there's no garbage in here.
There's one in the corner. One in the corner.
You know what?
Dude, that's bad.
Screw it. We have to finish them. People are paying money for this. We got it. No, Sam. We're good.
Dude, That really does.
I
taste like
appreciate
liver
you.
onions.
Producer Sam came sprinting in here with a garbage can, but God, that is so bad.
Jack also said for a $20 super chat, I could smack him with a tortilla.
I did not say that. Someone sends in a 50, Sam will slap me with a tortilla. How about that? All right, so shout out to Omar's Burner for getting us going with the Bean-Boozled today. And now we have our graphics ready to go for our first segment, so let's get into it. As most Commanders fans know, the Washington Commanders are a rebuilding franchise. But today, I'm going to get aggressive. I've got some players that the Washington Commanders can target in the trade market right now to make this team better and give Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn some help here in this new era of Washington Commanders football. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I am your host, Jack Sperry. Today, I got 6 aggressive trade targets for your Washington Commanders to cover on today's show. But before we get into it, make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you are absolutely stoked for the start of the Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels era here in Washington. I know I am. If you are as well and you're hopeful for the future of this football team, make sure you click that thumbs up icon to start today's show. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer here, guys, okay? I am not predicting that the Washington Commanders make any of these moves. There's some names on here that, maybe it's a little bit unrealistic, but this is an aggressive trade targets video, okay? So we're going to be going out, we're going to be adding big name players, and I'm simply presenting options that are currently or have been talked about on the trade market to this point. So don't get in the comments section and say, oh, there's no way this is going to happen. Why are you even talking about this? Today, we're talking aggressive trade targets, so just know that that's what we're going to be talking about. And also, keep in mind here, as a rebuilding franchise here, Washington, I would say it's a little bit rare for rebuilding teams, especially after the NFL draft, to get this aggressive and make a trade for a big-name player. Now, it's happened before, crazier things that have happened, so we're going to talk about it on the show. You never know what they're going to do, but just keep in mind here, the Commanders are rebuilding, and they may be looking to keep their cap space, keep their draft assets, all these different things. So, if they want to get aggressive, all right, if Adam Peters is like, you know what, I'm going to add a piece to really make this offense go with Jaden Daniels in year 1, I think they'd go out and get another wide receiver to pair with Terry McLaurin, who is a legit number 1 receiver, in my opinion. But if you get another guy to put in this offense here, along with Jahan Dotson, Luke McCaffrey, all these guys they have in the wide receiver room, I think that this offense, with Cliff Kingsbury calling the plays and Jaden Daniels throwing the rock, can be even more dangerous than it potentially could be heading into the 2024 season. And I'm very excited to see what can get done here. So let's toss out some aggressive names here. How about Brandon Ayuk? He was a former teammate of Jaden Daniels back at Arizona State, which is crazy because Ayuk's been in the league for a little while now. He's about to get paid his second contract in the league. That's how long Jaden Daniels was in college for, by the way. But Ayuk is somebody that trains with JD in the offseason. They actually go up on social media and they host like their own little conversations on there from time to time as well. So they're really good friends. And then also, Ayuk's a fantastic player, guys. He's a second-team All-Pro wide receiver from last season. He was really the main engine of the San Francisco 49ers passing game last year with Brock Purdy throwing him the football. And the reason why that is because he's one of the best route runners in the sport today, man. He's super crisp. He can stop on a dime. He can get going again super quickly. The acceleration, the speed, and then the intelligence as a route runner is really something to behold. But the San Francisco 49ers reportedly are asking for really astronomical prices. They're asking for the A.J. Brown type of package here. The Eagles ended up sending a first-round pick and a third-round pick in exchange for A.J. Brown a couple years back. That's going to be the baseline of any deal for Brandon Ayuk. Now, John Lynch, the San Francisco 49ers GM, has said, we are not getting rid of Brandon Ayuk at this point in the offseason. And he might be 100% correct on that, and he might just be completely stonewalled saying, we're not trading Brandon Ayuk. But if there's a possibility that you can get him on your roster. You already have your quarterback situation figured out. It's not like you're going to be spending your first-round pick on a quarterback next year. If you really want to solidify the wide receiver room for Jaden Daniels as he enters his first year and Brandon Ayuk is available, this is something for Adam Peters to consider. Now, another thing that you have to take into account here is that if you trade for Brandon, not only are you giving up a lot of really high-end draft capital, but you're also going to have to give him a new contract, which is going to get close to $30 million per season after this year. So for a team that's trying to rebuild, does it really make sense to be paying a wide receiver $30 million when you already have a rather large wide receiver contract with Terry McLaurin? I think you can certainly say it doesn't make sense because of that, but just keep that in mind if you want to go out and get Brandon Ayuk. And the reasons why I think that a trade for Ayuk is definitely unlikely at this point for the Washington Commanders. Number one, the price tag is going to be more than I think what Washington's going to want to pay. This is a rebuilding team. You don't trade away first-round picks if you're rebuilding. Plain and simply, that's an easy rule to follow for this football team. Then number two, San Francisco has said they're not looking to trade Brandon this offseason. All right, they're trying to get him locked up to a long-term contract. I would say Deebo Samuel is probably the more likely guy that could get dealt, even though the Niners have also said he's not on the market either. So let me know down there in the comments section if this was the price tag to go out and get Brandon Ayuk to pair with his former college teammate and one of his best friends, Jaden Daniels, here on the Commanders. Would you accept? Type A for accept. Type D for decline. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then some other wide receiver options on the trade market to consider if you want to add a wide receiver. DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle is definitely, let's put it this way, they're up against the cap. Metcalf has a big contract. Maybe they don't want to give him another big contract and they want to unload him to save some cap space. That's certainly a possibility. Cortland Sutton from the Denver Broncos. He doesn't like his contract situation with Denver. They after releasing Russell Wilson, they're in quite a bit of in cap straits right now. So they need some more cap room. Cortland Sutton, getting rid of him could alleviate that. And then Treylon Burks from the Tennessee Titans, somebody that hasn't really performed at the level that his draft pick warranted. He was a first-round draft pick out of Arkansas. But, you know, he's had injuries, poor quarterback play, all these different things. He's been a disappointment to this point. And I do think that a big wide receiver would be a nice addition for the Washington Commanders, because you look at the room, and yeah, you just added Luke McCaffrey, who's over 6 foot, but other than him, the only guy that's at 6 foot or higher is Terry McLaurin, who's exactly at 6 foot tall, right? So everybody else is kind of a smaller kind of wide receiver, and all of these guys on the list that I just mentioned, DK, Sutton, and Burks, are all over 6 foot, and they're all over 205 pounds, which is, you know, they're big guys, and that's something that the Commanders could certainly add to this team. So you look at what it would cost to get each of them. I think that Metcalf would be the most expensive other than Ayuk. I think he would cost 2 second-round picks in a row. So listen, man, Metcalf is a great downfield threat. We know that Jaden Daniels has a great deep ball. So this is something to consider if you want to get somebody like a DK Metcalf, who's still only 26 years old, by the way. So even though he's going to be a little bit more expensive, he could be a cornerstone for your offense moving forward. If you don't want to pay quite that much, Cortland Sutton, who is still a really good player. I think he's more of a true number 2 receiver, though, as opposed to a number 1. He'd probably cost around a 4th-round pick to alleviate the cap situation there in Denver. And then Treylon Burks would be the least expensive here, where as somebody that is a pretty unproven product at this point in his career, I think a conditional 6th-round pick is probably what he'll go for on the trade market. But if I'm talking about getting a wide receiver here, guys, I'm probably not going to get Burks. He is the least expensive option, but he also comes with the least amount of production here, and I just don't really think that going out and getting a guy like Burks is worth it. If you go out and make a splash for a wide receiver, let's make it worth our while here. Let's get a bigger name that's going to be an immediate contributor and somebody we can trust on the field. So coming up next year, the most realistic trade target for the Washington Commanders this offseason. It's not a wide receiver. It's somebody on the trenches. I'll let you know who it is here in just a second. But first, if you're excited about the Jaden Daniels era here in the nation's capital, you can go to chatsports.com/Daniels to get your officially licensed Jaden Daniels, Commanders jersey today on the Fanatics website. Just so you guys know, right now they don't have the official number announced for Jaden. So whenever the number comes out, that's when they're going to ship your jersey to you, and it's going to be the official number. So it won't be number 1 unless he chooses number 1 for some reason and takes it from Dotson. But, I think that Jaden Daniels will probably be wearing number 5, just so you guys know. It's not going to be a number 1 jersey unless that's his official number. That's just the way it is right now because the official number has not been announced. You can go chatsports.com/Daniels to get your official jersey in your closet today. So now the most realistic potential option here for the Washington Commanders, if they want to get help at left tackle, if they want to feel like, Brandon Coleman, maybe he's not ready to be a day 1 starting left tackle, Cornelius Lucas, do we really trust him to block the blind side of our brand new rookie quarterback? Maybe they go out and get a guy like Dan Moore Jr. from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who has a lot of experience starting at left tackle in the National Football League. He's still relatively young. He can play both sides of the line, left or right. So, if Brandon Coleman plays well, and Andrew Wiley stinks like he did last year, you can just park Dan Moore Jr. on the right side, and he's probably going to be pretty darn inexpensive as well. We'll get to his trade price here in just a second, but first, Dallas Robinson from Pro Football Network had this to say about this potential trade idea. While the Commanders will give the 67th overall pick Brandon Coleman a chance to start at left tackle, they may want to bring in more depth, especially with a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels under center. So this is what I think it would be. It'd be the same kind of situation as the Treylon Burks kind of trade, only the Commanders would be sending the 6th-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers instead of the Tennessee Titans. So you have Dan Moore Jr., who's experienced. He can play on either side of the line. And the condition there is that if he doesn't play a certain amount of snaps and he plays the bench, then you just give a 7th-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you're not giving up all that much here, and I do think that this is something that the Commanders will consider here, especially if more is made available by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And honestly, guys, I wouldn't hate this because you guys know, if you've been watching the show, I'm not the biggest fan, or I've got my worries and I've got my question marks about Brandon Coleman starting day 1 at left tackle, and I don't think Cornelius Lucas is a true starting left tackle in the league. I think he's a good swing tackle option as a backup, but Brandon Coleman, man, he's somebody that I think has all the tools. He's got long arms. He's somebody that moves well. He's got all the tools to be a franchise left tackle, and that's why the Commanders took him. But you look at his Pro Football Focus grade last season with the TCU Horned Frogs, it was at 57.7. All right, and that's in college football in the Big 12. That's not going to be good enough in the NFL, man. He's going to have to get a lot better just to put up that 57.7 PFF grade in the NFL year 1. And even then, that would be one of the worst PFF grades of any left tackle in football. Okay, so he's going to have to get a lot better from 2023 to 2024 if he's going to be a success in the league, especially right away. And getting a guy like Dan Moore who can play either side of the line, you don't have to rush a guy like this into your starting lineup too early. And that's definitely something I think Adam Peters, if Dan Moore Jr. is made available via trade, is going to consider here, and why I think he could be the most realistic trade target for the Commanders this offseason. Now pick a left tackle for me if you could choose one. Which guy is the best at protecting Jaden Daniels in 2024. Type DM for Dan Moore Jr., type BC for Brandon Coleman, or type CL for Cornelius Lucas. Let me know down there in the comment section. Now, before I go, I do have one last trade target here at a position that I still think is a big need, and that's cornerback. We're going to be talking about Saints corner Marshawn Lattimore here, somebody that's a press man specialist, somebody that I think is going to be a perfect fit in this defense if he ends up being traded here. I think Dan Moore, I think that this guy is a Dan Quinn kind of guy, all right? His specialty is press man, okay? So he's going to be somebody that can get up in the face of somebody, bully them, be physical. That's what Dan Quinn likes. Just look at Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, Deron Bland. That's what those guys did back in Dallas here, and I think Marshawn fits that style of play really well. Emmanuel Forbes, right now I think that with the way it's currently constructed, you're kind of hoping he's going to be your number one corner. I think Marshawn steps in day 1, and he's that guy for you. And, the reason why I think he might be on the trade block here is that New Orleans has taken some corners early in the draft these past 2 years. They took Alontae Taylor, and then they took Kool-Aid McKinstry in this year's NFL draft. So it looks like Lattimore could be on his way out, especially because after this year, his contract gets extremely pricey, and I know the Saints don't want to pay that, especially with so many young corners on their roster. You look at the depth chart right now, guys, it's unremarkable. Okay, Michael Davis is a fine number 2 starter, I guess. Benjamin St-Juste has shown some good things, but definitely not enough to really be confident in him. Emmanuel Forbes was just straight up burnt toast last year when he was in the game. Showed some good things towards the end of the season, but man, it's definitely a far cry from a legit number 1 corner. I do like the Mike Sainristil pick. I think he's going to be an immediate impact in the slot, but you definitely need that presence on the outside to really complete this room, in my opinion. Right now, they're hoping Emmanuel Forbes is going to be that guy. I think if you get Marshawn Lattimore, if you go to free agency and get Stephon Gilmore or even a Xavier Howard, I think you get that presence in here right away from week 1 and you don't have to worry about it. Now, the cap hit for Marshawn Lattimore in 2024, if he's traded to the Commanders, it's not going to be all that much, just $1.21 million. So that is a really good, that's pretty much a steal for the Washington Commanders if they're able to trade him this season. But then the next 2 years on his contract, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's not like it's a massive contract. I mean, it's a pretty penny, $20 million and then $21. So it's definitely not nothing, but I think a guy like this is still valuable. I think he's a great fit with the Washington Commanders defense. So if they want to get aggressive and go out and get in corner, I think he'd cost a 4th-round pick. I mean, right now, New Orleans, it seems like, is trying to unload him. Now, is a 4th-round pick going to be enough? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But that's probably the price I would be willing to pay if I were GM Adam Peters. If another team comes in and outbids me, fine. I'm not going to be giving up anything less, or anything more, I should say, than an early day 3 pick. Now, let me know down there in the comment section, which player, if any, do you want the Washington Commanders to target on the trade market? Do you want Dan Moore Jr. to be the next left tackle to start the 2024 season? Do you want to go get a big-name receiver like a DK Metcalf or a Cortland Sutton? Do you want to get a corner like Marshawn Lattimore? Is it somebody I didn't even mention on today's show? Let me know down there in the comment section. Who do you want the Commanders to target this offseason? All right, guys, that'll be it for today's show. Really do appreciate your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. All right, first segment out of the way here, and we got a $10 super chat. God, we got another Bean-Boozled coming. And he says, Allen for Metcalf is smart. Got a big number 1 wide receiver. Trade a defensive tackle asset where we have plenty of talent already. Shift $20 million a year from defensive line to wide receiver. Smart business. Honestly, Triz, if you want to go out and get a big name wide receiver and the Seattle Seahawks make him available, honestly, I don't hate it.
I mean, I don't think that DK Metcalf is a bad idea to go bring into your offense. He's exactly what the Commanders need. Yep. I was thinking Seahawks and stuff as well. But I think that the Seahawks, they have wide receivers. They could be willing to give them up because they have the Jackson Smith and Jigba, and they have other talent on the depth chart. So maybe they'd be willing to get off of them. Yeah,
absolutely, man. I just think that, Jonathan Allen, he's said in certain interviews that, maybe he wants to go play elsewhere. Yeah. You get Johnny Newton in round 2, so you don't necessarily need Allen anymore, And if you really want to get a wide receiver, I think you could use Allen as a nice trade piece there.
Absolutely.
And it'd probably be interesting. It'd probably be Allen and probably a 2nd-round pick next year.
I think that's fair.
For DK Metcalf, 26-year-old, big, deep threat receiver.
Is he only 26?
He's only 26.
Dude, he feels older.
Yeah,
I don't know
because
why.
Because he's been in the league for a long time.
Yeah, it feels like he's been in the league
So you're getting a young, deep threat star receiver in DK Metcalf for
with a young, good quarterback who can sling the damn rock.
Exactly. So honestly, man, if they want to get aggressive, they want to go out and make a big move. Honestly, I think that DK Metcalf, if he's made available, would be a good move for the Washington Commanders. Oh, we got Kurgan Cold showing up here. One of our real ones here. Kurgan sends in a 6. He says, sup, what's up, Kurgan? Good to see you, my friend.
And then he sends in a 9.
And then he sends in a 9. Everybody spam those nices in the chat.
Nice. Very nice.
Very nice. I like the 69.
How much?
Very good. I like. Kurgan, you're the best, my friend. So I'm going to count that 9 as a 10. So that means we each have to do another Bean-Boozled here. So here's your next one. God, God, I got rotten egg. Oh, shit.
You got to stop doing this to us, man.
What'd you get?
I think it's the dead fish.
So is it orange?
Yeah.
So it's either dead fish or barf.
Oh, lovely.
Oh,
Lovely.
fuck me, man. All right, I've got rotten egg. Triss has got either barf or dead fish. So without further ado,
Cheers.
remember, you know the rules. You got to finish it.
Dude.
Oh, it's rotten egg. What'd you get?
Barf.
Oh, it's barf.
sure, barf.
Oh.
I'm about to make another jelly bean myself.
All right, I need water. Oh, I need water.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! You know what'd be the worst job in the world? Being the taste tester
Yeah.
to make sure that this stuff tasted accurately.
Dude, you couldn't pay me all the money in the world to do
How do
that
they
job.
even come up with these flavors? Like what? Like obviously you have
how do
like
you
cherry
make-
flavoring. You have like all these different flavors
Yeah,
in their
how do you
factory.
make it barf?
How do you make a barf flavored like syrup?
Or like
Or whatever.
rotten egg? Or like stinky sock? Like what the
Like
heck
are
is
they
that?
literally like getting stinky socks, like getting them wet and then like squeezing the juices out and then like putting it into like I don't get how they make these things. And by the way, they're accurate. It tastes
Yes,
like barf.
It tastes like
It tastes
puke.
like fish or fish. It tastes
It's
like
horrible.
It's just freaking terrible, man. Kurgan says Jack knows barf. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do. Oh, great. Another Johnny Dodger, all name team over here with a $10 super chat. What's up, Coop?
What up, Coop Delu?
Do you want to do a Bean-Boozled? All right, so Coop is coming on here, Cowboys fan.
I hope it gets barf. 'Cause
Coop?
I had to just do barf.
What is up?
Dude, what's good, Coop?
What's up, Coop?
Fuck is up, man?
Oh, you got rotten egg. He's got rotten egg. Let's go. F the Cowboys.
F Coop! F Coop!
Wear the
F
hat.
Coop,
Yeah.
F Coop! F Coop!
F the Cowboys. F the Cowboys. F the Cowboys. All right.
I would like to make a statement.
Okay, he wants to make a statement. Go ahead.
No matter how bad the Cowboys are, they will always be better than the Washington football franchise.
Send in another 10 and make him eat
Get him
another
another
bean.
bean!
Yeah!
Yeah! Eat those words, Coop!
Yeah!
Those words, Coop!
Hey, he's a quitter! Oh! By the way, I want to read this one first. I want to read it. I want to get to Johnny Dodger here. A first and a second for a wide receiver. I would pay that much for a pass rusher or left tackle, but a wide receiver, we don't need that right now. That's the kind of move you make when you are ready to contend. I don't disagree here, Johnny.
I think that's a really good point.
When it comes to Brandon Ayuk, like I said, I don't think it's going to happen because it's too much of a price.
Yep.
You know, you have Scary Terry. It's not like you don't have a number one receiver
Yeah.
already. Now, some of the other guys, like Cortland Sutton, that would cost like a fourth-round pick.
That's intriguing.
That would intrigue me. Like if you wanted to trade John Allen, if you're going to trade him anyway, you might as well trade him for a guy like DK Metcalf, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, I'm not necessarily, like I said in the video, Johnny, I wasn't necessarily advocating that the Commanders do it, right? I'm just presenting possibilities. So
Yes.
I don't actually disagree with you there, Johnny. I probably would be relatively upset if they gave up a first and a
Exactly.
second round pick for Brandon Ayuk. I'd be
kidding.
pretty upset about that.
No kidding.
But I just wanted to present it to you guys so you know what the cost would have been. Oh! Kurgan Cold with a $69 super.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Everybody spam nice. Everybody spam nice in the chat. Let's go.
Nice.
We've got A3 in the chat. We got Jake. We got Jonathan. We've got Kurgan. We got Gerald.
Woo!
We got Revan. We got Jack. We got Gerald. We got Julius. We got Hurley. We got the whole crew here today. Let's go.
That's electric.
All right, Kurgan, you're going on the hat. F the Cowboys. Kurgan Cold is going on the hat right now, folks. All right, Kurgan Cold. My friend, thank you so much. F the Cowboys. F Coop.
F Coop.
Everybody spam F Coop in the chat. Let's go.
Coop.
F Coop.
Boo.
Boo. Cowboys suck. Kurgan Cold knows it. Thank you for the $69 super chat. Very nice. By the way, we got to eat another bean.
Yeah.
Because of that super chat right there. Everybody spam F Coop in the chat, or F the
Coop.
Cowboys, or F the Cowboys.
Either one is acceptable.
All right, here we go. You get rotten egg this time. You get rotten egg this time. I've got liver and onions. All right. This one, you wouldn't think liver and onions because it's actually like a food.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it would taste as bad as it does.
But it's like they didn't cook it and they let it sit out in the sun for like 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Johnny Dodger says, make Coop eat another Dak, rotten egg, Prescott. Johnny, if you send in another 10, we will get Coop, okay? We will go get Coop, and we will make sure he eats another one, all right? So without further ado, here we go.
I mean, it doesn't.
It's like right when you bite into it, it's so bad.
No time wasted.
God, I need my water.
Oh my God.
Dude, I'm running out of water, too.
That might be the worst one.
This is bad. The rotten egg? Is that worse than the other ones?
Might be. Might be, dude. Holy cow.
Oh, dude, these. I don't think I want to do this anymore after today.
This is a one and done.
I don't know if I want to eat these beans ever again after today.
If we do, we need to do it before lunch.
God, this is so bad. Okay, we're going to be going into the mailbag here after this next segment. So if you have a question, you want to put it on the show, hashtag Commanders or Super Chat to get your voice on the show today.
Dude, I got to get some water. Holy cow.
Okay. God, that's bad. After this next segment, do you mind grabbing me some water?
Yeah, for sure.
Because, God, that tastes so bad.
For sure.
Okay, let's get into this next segment right now. Commanders trade candidates. I got 4 names of guys that may end up getting traded from the Commanders to somewhere else here. So, Trace, whenever he gets the graphics ready here, we'll get into that. No, let's just go into the segment here. I think people understand what we're doing today. Okay, let's get into this next segment here. The top Commanders trade candidates after the 2024 NFL Draft. Now that the 2024 draft has come and gone, what are some players on the Commanders roster that could be dealt elsewhere? This is a rebuilding team here in Washington. They could probably grab some additional draft capital in future years. So let's talk about the possibilities today right here on the Commanders Report. Before we get into it, though, make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we have daily Commanders videos breaking down the latest news and rumors surrounding this football team every single day, 100% free. Then also, if they make a cut, if they trade somebody away, if they trade for someone, if they sign someone in free agency, we're going to have breaking news coverage for you guys right here on the channel. And we also have weekly live shows every single Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We like to have a good time. We like to do these super chat kind of stuff, or the Bean-Boozleds and the tortilla slaps. It's a good time, man. So if you want a nice community of fellow Commanders fans to talk ball with every single week, this is going to be the place for you. Make sure you click that subscribe button. It's 100% free to do so. So a little bit of a disclaimer here before we get into it. This is not a predictions video, okay? I'm not predicting that all 4 of these players or any of them are going to get traded. I'm simply saying that there is an avenue that you could potentially make. You could make an argument that they could be traded. Okay, so I'm not predicting it. So before you get into the comments slamming me for bringing up these players, okay, today we're going to be going over guys that could end up getting traded if they wanted to get more capital in future NFL drafts. So let's start with Jonathan Allen here, because this is one that's been floating around for, a couple years now at this point, especially this past year where he's gone on radio programs and podcasts saying, yeah, he thinks about playing for other teams. And of course, post-game last year in one of the games, he said, I'm tired of this shit, losing, all this different stuff. And listen, man, Jonathan has been a really good player for the Washington Commanders, and he hasn't been a part of good teams, right? The team has just not been able to produce much success with Jonathan on the team, and that's sad because he's a really good player and he wants to, use his prime to help a team try and win a championship. So he still has 2 years left on his contract. He's 29 years old. So by the time his next contract expires, he's going to be over 30 years old. Okay, so he's somebody that definitely wants to take advantage of his time while he is still relatively good, right? Because after that next contract, after you hit 30, you never really know how good he's going to be. And then the Commanders did draft Johnny Newton in the second round of the NFL draft this year, so they have room to potentially unload one of these defensive tackles if they wanted to do that. And then also, like we've said, Allen has previously expressed that he might want to go play elsewhere. So after the Johnny Newton pickup, it's definitely possible that Jonathan Allen could be dealt for the right price, right? It has to be for the right price if you're the Washington Commanders, because right now on this defense, the best thing about this defense is the defensive tackle position, right? The edge rusher position is in kind of dire straits right now with Dorrance Armstrong slated to be your number one edge rusher. The cornerback room, I think, is definitely below average to NFL standards. I like the inside linebacker room. I'm cool with the safeties, but on the edges and then on the perimeter at corner, things are just, maybe below average when it comes to NFL standards. And right now, the one way that you can probably consistently get pressure on the quarterback is up the middle in the interior with this rotation of 3 really good defensive tackles. So Jonathan Allen is still very valuable to this football team. So I'm not going to give him away for nothing. Right? I'm not giving him up for like a 4th round pick, or I'm not going to give him up for, a 5th round pick. So this is what I would be willing to do here if I am the Washington Commanders. 2025 second round pick in exchange for Jonathan Allen and a 3rd round pick in 2026. Okay, so that is what I am willing to do if I am the Washington Commanders. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Would you accept this trade for Jonathan Allen, upgrading that pick into getting a second round pick, but you have to give up a 3rd round pick in 26 plus Jonathan Allen? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Type A if you're going to accept it, or type D if you're going to decline it. Here in just a second, I'm going to be talking about our sponsor today at Prize Picks. While I'm talking about Prize Picks, make sure you guys go down there and tell me whether you're accepting or declining this trade offer for Jonathan Allen. Now, today's Commanders Report video is made possible by our friends at Prize Picks, and they've got specials for new and returning users alike for the NBA playoffs when you head on over to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the Prize Picks app today and use our code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. Football season has been over for a while, and it's not going to be coming back until the fall, but the action on the hardwood is just heating up with this year's NBA title on the line. Right now, there is no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year, so get in on the excitement with our friends at Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. That is, if you know ball. Also, right now, they have a free promotion on Prize Picks, where they have the more on Caitlin Clark points that's set at 0.5 points. So if Caitlin Clark, who's going to be averaging like 20, 30 points a game this year in the WNBA, scores just one basket, all right, even one free throw, you get to win some money with our friends at Prize Picks. Now, for my projection over these next several days, Karl Anthony Towns with the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm going to take the less on his point total at 20 for Game 3 against Denver, and then I'm going to take the Demon more on Naz Reid. So essentially what a Demon is that it's a harder to get projection, but you get a higher payout. 12.5 points, 6th man of the year. I'm going to take the more on that for Game 3. The NBA playoffs are now in full force, and you can pick more or less right now to make some money from the biggest stage in the game. Prize Picks is simple to play. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and then watch the winnings roll in. Get started now if you haven't already at prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the Prize Picks app today and get a first-time deposit match of $100 when you use our code CLNS. You can pick more or you can pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks. Now let's move from Jonathan Allen to Derek Forrest. And this really pains me, guys, because I really like Derek Forrest as a player. Whenever I pop him on film, he's always making plays, all right? And that's somebody that I want on my defense. However, he's entering the final year of his contract. He's also coming off a pretty major shoulder injury, and with them taking Mike Sainer still in the second round this year, that tells me that he's going to play slot corner, and then Quan Martin is going to be moving to his more natural position at free safety, which of course is where Derek currently presides. So even though I like Derek Forrest as a player, I think he's a legit starter in the National Football League, and he's somebody that can contribute to a really good defense in the National Football League. It just seems like he's being phased out a little bit, especially after his injury, and I don't think the Commanders are going to want to pay big money for a safety. They showed that this year with their unwillingness to pay Cameron Curl when he hit the free agency market. So why I actually think that Derek Force could get traded here is because I think they might want to get Quan Martin in there at free safety as soon as they can, and they might want to try to get something for Derek before he hits the open market. Now, whether that's a 5th-round pick, I think you could get up to maybe even a 4th-round pick for him. I think he's a really good player, but he plays a low-value position. I'd say it's probably going to be around a 5th or a 6th-round pick for his services. Is that worth it? I'm not too sure. I kind of like having a little bit of depth at the safety position, so the price has to be right to get rid of Derek, but it seems like they're phasing him out, and they want Quan Martin to be the next free safety of the future for this football team. Another trade candidate for the Commanders is Jamin Davis. This one's pretty obvious to me because not only has Jamin had some legal issues in the past year, but also the Commanders really invested heavily in this position this offseason. They signed 4 linebackers in free agency, okay? All of which started games in 2023. So Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, Michael Walker, and Anthony Pittman, all those guys started at least one game last season, and they drafted another one in Jordan McGee in the draft this year who's got super high upside. So, I look at Jamin Davis, and because of all the different things, he's entering the final year of his contract, the legal issues, now you have some nice depth at the position. I do think he's one of the 3 best linebackers on this team. I do think Wagner and Louvu are number 1 and number 2 with Davis in the 3rd spot. But if someone gives you a pretty decent offer for Davis, who is still very athletic, who still has a potential future as a starter in this league, I do think a team might be willing to give a day 3 draft pick in exchange for Jamin Davis, and I think the Commanders may be inclined to take that offer. And I do think that his days in Washington are numbered. If it's not during this offseason, it's going to be next offseason that I think he departs from the Washington Commanders, barring an incredible season here this year. Now, my 4th trade candidate, Benjamin St-Juste, especially if the Commanders add another corner to this team, like if they sign Stephon Gilmore or Xavier Howard or Adoree Jackson, or if they trade for Marshawn Lattimore, I think Benjamin St-Juste could be traded elsewhere. And like some of these other guys, he's entering the final year of his contract. They signed Michael Davis this year in free agency. Of course, you have Emmanuel Forbes in the room already. Now, St-Juste is a nice backup option in case one of those guys gets hurt. But especially if they add another piece to this room here, I do think St-Juste could be sent elsewhere. St-Juste has shown some flashes throughout his career, but at the end of the day, man, I'm just not sure if he's a true starter in the National Football League. And at the end of the day, man, if they can get a pretty decent offer for him, I think that they'll probably take that. And I do see him more as a backup, and I'd kind of like the Commanders to keep him as a backup because there's just not many guys that are 3rd cornerback options on the outside that have as much experience and, honestly, as much ability as Benjamin St-Juste has. So, he's a valuable backup option that the Commanders have. So it would take at least, I'd say, probably a 5th-round pick or so to be able to really get the value for him on the trade market in terms of draft capital. But when it comes to Benjamin St-Juste, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think they keep him, but I think that he could be a potential trade candidate, especially if they sign or add another corner to the room. Now let me know down there in the comment section which Commanders player is the most likely to be traded this offseason. Is it Jonathan Allen? Is it Derek Forrest? Is it Jamin Davis? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. If I'd have to answer this question right now, guys, I'd have to say Jamin Davis because of all the depth at that position. It seems like they're trying to phase him out. They're bringing in young players like Jordan McGee to fill that role in the future. It seems like if they could get a 5th round or even a 6th round pick for Jamin Davis at this point, they'd probably send him elsewhere. Now, that'll be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate your support. Make sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already for more free Commanders content here on YouTube every single day. All right, 2 down. Oh, shoot. Ho, ho, ho. This one's coming in from IQ Barbecue. Bang! F the Cowboys. F the Cowboys. F the Cowboys. Let's go! He says the first 20 is for F the Cowboys and the rest are for Beans. F you, I mean, thank you, but F you at the same time. Oh my
Sorry,
god.
it's hard not to watch. They love seeing the beans. Giggity. Hold on.
Giggity.
Pause.
IQ barbecue going on the hat. F the Cowboys.
Man.
$100 super chat from IQ Barbecue. Give it up for BBQ in the chat.
Shout out BBQ.
So, what is this? 8 beans? 4 beans a piece?
I feel like you just got to throw them all 4 in and just go.
I'm kind of yeah. That'd be something that we haven't done so far.
Maybe it's like double negatives, like 2 wrongs making a right here.
All right, I'm gonna get 4 a piece. Oh my god. All right, here we go. Here's your 4.
Okay. Oh god. I see an egg.
All right, so we're just gonna do all 4 at the same time if it's the same to you, IQ. Because I don't think I could do 4 individual in a row. That would just be so gross, man.
You're playing with fire at that point.
I'm just gonna.
We have more content.
Yeah, we still have more content, man. So we got to get to that. But thank you so much, Barbecue. You're the best.
I'm gonna go ahead and open my water bottle.
Oh yeah, shit. I don't have anything to drink.
Do you want me to pour some of this in there?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'll just get something to drink later. Oh.
Do you want me to go run and fill that up real fast?
Do it after we eat them.
Okay.
Do it after we eat.
Okay.
Oh. All right, here we go.
3.
4 jelly beans in a row.
No good idea. Worst idea.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh god.
I might actually throw up. Oh, go get me some water. I need water.
I'm going.
All right, I finished it. I finished it, folks. Oh, that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my entire life. Damn brutal is right. IQ, I love you, man, but I fucking hate you at the same time. That was terrible. Ugh. Oh, God. Trace is going to go get me some water here because I need it. But make sure you guys get your questions in right now. This is your chance to get your voice heard on the show. We got over 215 people watching around the world right now. Use hashtag Commanders along with your question in the live chat. Or you can super chat and you'll skip the line. All right, so we appreciate all of you guys. Every $10 super chat is a Bean-Boozled jelly bean. If you send in 100 like IQ did, we'll do them all at the same time. Which I don't like doing it, but I mean, our job is to entertain you guys, all right? So if it entertains you guys to send in $100 and we eat 5 jelly beans at the same time that are nasty and taste like barf and throw up and boogers and dirty dishwater, if that's the kind of thing that you like, we'll do it, all right? God, that last one, I think I had 2 barfs and a rotten egg and then a liver and onions, okay? It's not a good combo. Don't recommend, all right? So if you guys got questions, hashtag Commanders or super chat. We're going to get into this mailbag here in about 2 minutes. So if you want to get your question, here we go. Thank you so much. There's vodka in here. I'm going to be so upset. I'm going to be so upset if you put vodka in here. All right, we're good. We're good. Okay, man. Get your questions in if you haven't already. How we doing on questions, by the way, Triz? I saw earlier people were getting them in. All right, so Trey says we need some more, so make sure you guys keep getting them in there. Jesus, dude. That's so bad. Like I said, IQ, I love you, but I hate you at the same time, dude. Oh, respectfully hate you, man, but you're on the F the Cowboys hat. It's right here. Good stuff right there, my friend. So let's get into it right now. keep sending those super chats in, and we'll keep doing these Bean-Boozleds until we run out. I think we got about like 12 left in here or so. So keep sending them in. We'll keep doing them, but they're not fun. So we're going to get into this mailbag right now. Even while I'm in the mailbag, guys, you guys can still submit questions. So if we're in the middle of the mailbag, you get a question, hashtag Commanders down there in the chat, and Triz will make sure you get on today's show. Okay, man, let's get into it right now. Our final segment of the day, the Commanders Report mailbag, is coming at you right now. It's another week here on the Commanders Report, which means yet another Q&A from me, host of the Commanders Report, Jack Sperry here. Can't wait to answer your questions on the Burgundy and Gold. It's been another interesting week here for the Washington Commanders. So get down there right now. Get your questions in. Hashtag Commanders if you're watching this live. But if you're not watching this live and you're watching this during the weekend, then you missed the live show. But don't fret. You guys can get your question on next week's Commanders Report live show by clicking that subscribe button right now and joining us every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we break down your questions. And we also have some hijinks. We do these super chat promotions, tortilla slaps, nasty jelly beans, all these different stuff. So if you want the most interactive Commanders fan community on YouTube and to have a voice here with our awesome Commanders community, make sure you click that subscribe button right now. And with that, I'll pause and open it up for questions, starting with my man, Jonathan Taylor. Says, chance to trade Allen for LT, will they do it? For a left tackle? I mean, it depends on the left tackle, right? Because if it's Dan Moore Jr., there's no way in hell I'm trading Jonathan Allen for him. Dan Moore is like, he's like a low-level starter. Jonathan Allen is a really good starting defensive tackle. So, like, it depends on the left tackle. But there's just not a whole lot of left tackles that are available via trade. It's just not the way that it works. If you have one, you're not getting rid of them because that's a very valuable position. And very few teams have multiple offensive tackles on their roster, 3 of them that can start in the National Football League. And even if they do have 3, they tend to keep those guys because what if one of those guys gets hurt, right? So it's just very difficult to find teams willing to trade tackles, starting capable tackles, especially at this point in the offseason. But if the chance presents itself and it's a good enough tackle, I'm certainly open to it. Then we got one from Omar's Burner and says, is there a possibility of a wide receiver trade this offseason for the Commanders? It's possible. I won't say it's likely because I think that they like the receivers they have in their building. You have your true number 1 in Terry McLaurin. You've got a nice secondary piece in Jahan Dotson. I think they like De'Ami Brown and Mitchell Tinsley and Dax Milne and all these backup level guys that they have. And then Luke McCaffrey was their pick in round 3 this year. Bigger body, really strong. And I think they really believe in him as well. So I really do like this wide receiver room for the Commanders. I think they could, if they had an opportunity to add like a DK Metcalf or Cortland Sutton, I might do it. But yeah, man, it's just going to be interesting for sure. All right, so JG says, is Coker from Holy Cross still available as an undrafted free agent? I'm going to look this up right now. I'm actually not sure because if you guys remember, Jalen Coker was one of my sleepers this year. So he signed with the Panthers as an undrafted free agent. So the Commanders can't get him. He's with the Panthers. And honestly, with the Panthers in their current wide receiver position, I think he's going to make the roster there. He might be a surprise player this year as an undrafted free agent. That's a pretty good contributor for them. So wishing Coker the best of luck. But in terms of the Commanders, that ship has sailed. Then we got one from Mr. Washington. And he says, how would you feel about trading for DK Metcalf? What do you think it would cost? I think it would probably cost 2 second-round picks. He's their number 1 receiver there in Seattle right now. I know they have Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett, both of which are good players as well. But DK is their number 1 guy. He's their number 1 deep threat. He's big. He's only 26 years old. So he's somebody that, is a young star at the wide receiver position in this league. I don't think the Commanders are going to give up a first-round pick in future years for anyone, but would they be willing to give up 2 seconds in consecutive years? Maybe, if it means they can get a guy like DK Metcalf. It's going to be interesting to see what they do here. If that opportunity presented itself, what it would look like for the Washington Commanders. So make the call for me down there in the comment section. If you are Adam Peters and the Seattle Seahawks offer DK Metcalf to you in exchange for your next 2 second-round draft picks, would you take it? Type Y for yes or N for no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time, but give me a yes or no. down there in the comments. Then we on from Nate Dog 09, and he says, will Jonathan Allen and 5th-round pick be traded for Tristan Wirfs? I just don't understand why Tampa would want to get rid of Wirfs. I mean, unless they're – because, listen, man, Tampa Bay is a team that I think that they're trying to run it back with their guys that won a playoff game last year, right? Baker, Mike Evans they brought back this year. They haven't traded Chris Godwin, who's on the last year of his contract. And obviously, Tristan Wirfs is a big part of their offensive line. So listen, Jonathan Allen is 29 years old. He's aging. He's a good player, but he's an aging good player. And then a 5th-round pick is pretty much nothing, right? It's a day 3 pick. And Tristan Wirfs is one of the best tackles in football. Like, that's just a pretty lopsided deal. And I just don't think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would really want that. Now, if it's Jonathan Allen and like a 2nd-round pick or even a 1st-round pick, yeah, they might think about it a little bit. But usually if you have a good offensive tackle, left tackle in this league, you don't let them go. That's what the Bucs have right now, so I'm not sure if they're even willing to entertain it. Then we got on from Deborah Anderson. What's up, Deborah? Says, I'm just hoping that we have a solid team this year. You and me both, Deborah. I'm really hoping that after last year, with how bad it was, offensively and defensively, I always knew that the offense could have been a disaster last year because the offensive line was so bad and Sam Howell was unproven. I always knew it was a possibility the offense was going to be bad, but the defense really disappointed me last year, man. With the amount of talent they had on the defensive line to start the year, I really like the safeties. Emmanuel Forbes, I was relatively high on heading into the year, and he disappointed. So it was a very disappointing season last year, and you can go back to however many seasons you want. This has been a disappointing football team, but hopefully with the new owner, with the new GM and Adam Peters, new head coach in Dan Quinn, and the new quarterback, Jaden Daniels, things are starting to look up here, and I'm very excited about the future of this football team. Now, before I get into the rest of your questions today, go to chatsports.com/Daniels to get an officially licensed Jaden Daniels Commanders jersey in your closet today. Just so you guys know, it might not be number 1. It's probably going to be number 5. They haven't announced the official number at the time that I'm recording this video here, but Jaden Daniels is somebody that I think is going to be a mainstay here with the Washington Commanders for the next decade plus. I think he's going to be a star quarterback for this football team. If you agree with me, you want to make an investment in his jersey before they sell out, go to chatsports.com/Daniels to get your official Jaden Daniels jersey in your closet today. And we got another one from JG here. It says, did you see the quarterback ranking that came out today that had JD ranked 34th out of 36? I did not. I wonder who's above him. I did see a CBS Sports one earlier this week that had like J.J. McCarthy like 25th already over guys like Russell Wilson and like legit starters that are established in the league, right? And it's just ridiculous. So Jaden Daniels, I think, is going to be one of the better rookie quarterbacks this year. I think J.J. McCarthy probably won't get on the field till about mid-season. I think Caleb will be really good with the Bears. Drake May, if he plays, I don't think he'll play well. He's going to be somebody that I think needs to develop a bit. Michael Penix probably won't be playing for Atlanta. So, I think that JD has a really good chance to establish himself as a really good quarterback in this league heading into next year. Needs to protect his body better. He needs to adjust to the NFL speed of the game. He needs to take advantage of his weapons, but I'm very excited about his future here in this league. And make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you are a real one. You watch our shows, you support the channel. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to talk about Commanders football every single day for free here on the channel, so really do appreciate all of your support. Let me on from Ron Burgundy and says, how do you feel about Austin Eckler heading into the year? Do you think he'll be running back 1? I don't. I think B-Rob is still going to be the number 1 running back. Eckler is getting older. He kind of lost a step last year on film, if I'm being honest. And honestly, I think that Chris Rodriguez Jr. out of Kentucky, a second-year player out of Kentucky, might be rife here for a really good breakout season. He showed some good things at the end of last year. And if there's an injury and he gets an opportunity to really get some quality reps, I think that he could really establish himself as a good back in the National Football League. If Austin Eckler continues kind of his downward spiral, his decline, I could see Chris Rodriguez Jr. getting more and more of a role as the season progresses. Hopefully, Austin Eckler is a good third down option for you as a receiving option, as a nice run blocker, or not run blocker, pass blocker on third downs. It's kind of your scat back, but I do think Brian Robinson Jr., the younger, and at this point, I think faster running back is probably the better option at the number 1 spot. Then we got $10 super chat here from Indian Lake, Ohio, who says Allen. So talking about Jonathan Allen for DK Metcalf is smart. Get a big number one wide receiver, trade a defensive tackle asset where we have plenty of talent already. Shift $20 million a year from defensive line to wide receiver, smart business. And I don't disagree with Indian Lake, Ohio here. I don't think that it would be straight up like the way he presents it here. I don't think they'd give up Metcalf for Allen straight up. I think it would be like Allen in a third-round pick or Allen in a second-round pick, something along those lines. But at the end of the day, Metcalf's a really good player. Now, the Commanders do have a number one receiver in Terry McLaurin, and I actually think McLaurin is better than Metcalf. So I think Metcalf would actually be the number two option here in Washington. But he is he's a star wide receiver at 26 years old. And if he's gettable and, if Allen wants to get traded anyway, it might be smart business to make that trade and move that money from defensive tackle to wide receiver. Then we go on from Bo Rat. Very, very nice. I like. Says, what is a move that you did not like from Adam Peters this offseason and why? Trading the second-round pick to the Eagles where they were able to scoop up Cooper DeJean. God, I hated that, man, especially when you traded down and you didn't address edge rusher. I mean, edge rusher was one of my biggest needs for this team heading into the draft. They didn't draft a single one. Not one. And you got Dorrance Armstrong and, KJ Henry or Cleveland Ferrell or Dante Fowler Jr., whoever wins that second edge rusher spot. It's looking like Cleveland Ferrell, by the way. It just, that rubbed me the wrong way. It just did. And, giving Cooper DeJean to the Eagles, who already had Quinion Mitchell in the first round, goodness gracious. It should be unforgivable what he did. And then he traded down. And listen, I like Mike Sainristil and I like Ben Sinnott, but those are two low-value positions when you had a glaring need at a very important position at edge rusher. So, I don't know, man. That was a move that just doesn't sit right with me because I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I hate the New York Giants. And to give one of those guys a really good player just doesn't really sit right with me personally. So is there any regrets here this offseason from your perspective? Are there any moves that you wish Adam Peters hadn't have made this offseason? Would you have rather taken Drake May instead of Jaden Daniels? Did you like the Johnny Newton pick? Let me know. Down there in the comment section, is there any move that you disagree with that the Commanders made this offseason? That'll be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate everybody that submitted questions this week. Again, join us and subscribe on Thursday here, every single Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going live. We're taking your questions. We're having a good time. So if you want the most interactive Commanders community here on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button right now. All right, those are our segments today, Triz. We're going to put on a shot clock here. We'll go about 3 minutes. Every $10 that comes in is a bean. If you put in a 20, you get your name on the hat.
Boom.
All right, so we got 3 minutes here. And if Johnny Dodger sends in a $10 super chat, we'll go get Coop, and he'll have to eat another one.
Yeah, Coop was just when I went to go fill up your water bottle, he was talking a lot of shit.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
He's just what he does.
He's a big Cowboys fan. He just loves to shit on the Commanders. So
for no reason.
Absolutely terrible.
It's not like the Cowboys have done anything worth a damn.
Yeah, man. Since the new millennium, what have they done?
I'm going to say right now, in my lifetime.
Same amount as the Commanders.
In my lifetime, I've never seen the Cowboys win a meaningful football game.
Me? I can't say I have either. In the playoffs, I don't think they beat Russell Wilson in the Seattle Seahawks 1 year.
That one
Fine.
time.
They beat Tom Brady and the Bucks 2 years ago in the playoffs. But
then what happened?
It's a wild card game, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to NFC Championship games and Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
So we got a question here from Commanders Prod. Says hashtag Commanders. What do you think about the DK Metcalf rumors? I think it's interesting because I like DK Metcalf as a player. And I think he'd be valuable on this team. He's 26. That's still really young. There's some rookies that came out this year that were like 24, 25, right? So he's still really young. He is a beast, and he's a great deep threat. And that's exactly what Jaden Daniels wants to do in this offense. Mm-hmm. And, you have Terry McLaurin, who is a legit number one receiver. But if you can add another, star receiver to this room, kind of sign me up. If for the right price, you're not overpaying for him, right? You're not going to give up a first-round pick for him. or anything like that, but
Yeah.
like John Allen and a second-round pick,
Easy.
Easy. I would kind of think about it, man. I'm not going to
Easy.
lie, because we all know that if this team's going to get good and get good fast, you need really good players on offense. And yes, you need to figure out the defensive side of the ball, but you just drafted Johnny Newton, who can start in the league right away. From week one, you put him next to Deron Payne in a 4-3 front, he's going to be able to ball out.
No doubt.
And if you can add DK Metcalf to this offense, I mean, this team and their acceleration towards a playoff caliber status, it's just going to accelerate.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
And I just think that if you have an opportunity to make that deal happen, you should probably go out and make it happen. We got 30 seconds left if you guys want us to eat some more beans here. Otherwise, we're gonna sign off here. It's been a fun show, though. It's been a really fun show.
Absolutely. Got a little out of hand there for a little bit.
It's kind of crazy that, like, you eat terrible food, but you do it with, like, a community, and it's like all of a sudden it becomes a positive experience.
Yeah, it makes it suck a little less.
As you're sucking down a rotten egg jelly bean. Oh my God, man! I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do these Bean-Boozled jelly beans again. I don't know if I can do it. It's so bad. They're just so bad, man. I can't stomach them. All right, so that's our timer here. So we're gonna say goodbye here, unless you guys got more super chats.
Bye, guys.
We're gonna say goodbye for the day. We'll see you guys next Thursday for our live show. Really do appreciate your support. We got another Commanders video coming your way tomorrow, so make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, hail to the Commanders.